Minty just does not want to grow. I'm going to take a closer look. Where are you, seed? There is, in fact, a few seeds in here. Not sure if you can see that, but there is a seed just here and a seed just here. So I've got no idea why the mint refuses to grow. Good morning, internet world. A lot of you have asked to see my video editing workflow. Well, today I'm going to treat you to that. It's currently 7:20 AM and I'm already editing my first video of the day. And the first step in the process is to remove the memory card from the camera, and then that in turn goes into my memory card reader. And now it's time to select the clips that I need to import. So for this video I have already imported one clip, but I also need this clip just here, and I can select to add this to an existing event because this is the video that I'm actually editing, and click on import selected, and when that's finished I can eject the memory card. Now I'm actually editing on my Mac Pro, but all of my storage is in fact external storage, so the video that you just saw me importing has actually gone onto this Western Digital MyBook Pro. Every evening this gets mirrored onto this LaCie 2 Thunderbolt 2 drive. So what you're seeing now is my Final Cut Pro 10 application, and this is what I use for all of my editing. Now you may or may not know that I run other channels on YouTube, so I've got some projects set up inside this little projects folder here, and these are already set up with the intros and outros. So I've got various ones for different frames per second. So this is when I'm recording on a smartphone, for example. Then I've got my 1080p videos here. Then I've also got a 1080p 30 frames per second timeline. I've got a Geek Daily video, which are my daily videos in 60 frames per second. And then when I'm recording something in 4K resolution, I use this project here. And then I've also got a template there, or a project set up for my luxury lifestyle channel videos. The video that I'm editing today is a 4K one, so I'm going to go into this project here, and this loads it into the timeline. And then I'm going to go to the folder I created for this particular video. And the first thing I do is always change the title. So the title here is Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge update. This is a long title, so we can now reposition this title, and I can also adjust the angle of it. So let's go to here, and we're going to just adjust the angle to 30 just to give it a little bit more space on the screen here. Actually, let's put this one completely straight. There we go, that fits in a bit better. And this particular video is not going to be a vlog, this is just like an update video. So I'm going to go back to my timeline down the bottom area just here, and because I want to keep the template ready for the next video, I'm just going to drag this second title underneath my timeline so it completely disappears. So now it's time to add the footage. So this one, I think I managed to do it in one take, but I've got this additional piece of footage here just in case I need it. I think I might have made a mistake at the beginning of the video, but let's just play back some of this. The camera performance, the battery life, and also the wireless charge. Yep, so that sounds okay. So I'll just quickly scan through the video. That looks pretty good. So we go back to the beginning. I'm going to set my in and out points, and I do that using I and O on the keyboard. So I use the keyboard shortcuts. Hi everyone, so there's my in point. I want to give you a bit of an update on the camera performance. And then let's scan through to the out point. So thanks for watching this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please do hit that like button. Please do subscribe, and I'll see you in another video very soon. And then I hit W on the keyboard, and that pastes this into the timeline. Now this was a very simple edit, purely because I managed to do it in one take. Sometimes I take more than one take. So for example, I've left something on the timeline here from a previous video, and you can see here I've got one little section here at the beginning, and then as we scroll across we've got me walking into shot, and then I'll scroll further across the timeline. Actually, let's use a shortcut to go to the next edit. So this is the next edit, so I've just sort of done a bit of an edit there, and then here I've actually got up out of my seat, moved the chair, and now I'm using the camera handheld just to get it into position and create a bit of movement in the video as well. And now I've got my main unboxing of this product. And then if we go to the next section, here we've got just another jump cut showing me opening the box, and we'll go through the various jump cuts here showing the batteries. And now we've cut to me actually testing out this particular product for the first time. And then right at the end, oh, here we've got a little title I added in. And then right at the end we've got the sort of outro, what I thought about the product, and then we've got my end screen. This is like a graphic screen. I'll show you how I add this in a short while. So because we're using a template, let's go all the way back to that original footage, which was here, and we're just going to check the in point first of all. Just check there's not too much gap of silence here, so we're just going to pull this in a little bit. Hi everyone, this is Dave, and in today's video I want to give you a bit of an update on the camera performance. So that sounds absolutely fine. What I'm also doing is checking the levels on the right hand side. We're always aiming for this -6 dB level on these meters, just here on the right hand side. So we'll play that again and just check. Hi everyone, this is Dave, and in today's video I want to give you a bit of an update. Yeah, we're almost hitting the -6. We're just going to increase the level. Again, I use a keyboard shortcut, Control and plus, just to add a 1 dB increase on the timeline. Hi everyone, this is Dave, and in today's video I want to give you a bit. That's better. And then we scan through for gaps, because you can see along the video footage this is the audio levels all the way through. If I make a mistake, I leave a long pause, and then I know I've got to make an edit there. So I'm just going to scan through and check there's no long pauses. It looks like I'm alright for pauses so far. And this is what takes time in the editing process. I'm talking a bit quiet here actually, so I'm going to just boost that level just by another 1 dB. And we just scan across. Looks like we're alright, no edits so far. And even though I've done this initial scan, once the video has exported and is ready to upload, I always watch it back again as well, just to try and eliminate any of those errors. Some do creep through, but for most part I'm normally okay with just this scan. And there we go, we're at the end of the video. So now I can actually delete all of the old footage from this previous video that I don't want, and this just allows me to keep that template intact to use next time. So now we're through to the end of the video. Now I want to check my out point is correct, so I'll just pull this in a little tiny bit. Very soon. And that's fine. I've got no audio on here because I used a different audio track last time, so I'm just going to pull this up to 0 dB on the outro music. This video overlay up here is an old one, so I want to get rid of that, and I want to add in my original video for the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge, which is in this folder here. So I want to pull in some of this footage, so I'm just going to set an in point and an out point and drop this on top of here. Mute the audio, so I've taken the audio level down to 0, and then I want to change the size of it. So I'm going to go up to the scale area here, and I know from past experience it's 43%. I'm going to click here and then drag this into position, and this is going to be the annotation at the end of the video. So that's now in position, and then I've got to go all the way to the end of the video and get rid of this excess footage. So I'm going to use my blade tool to make a cut, and then back to my arrow tool, and then select this video and this excess padding here, and then it ends exactly at the right stage. It's just got me talking about the Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge. Now, I don't particularly like the fact that the screen isn't showing much, so I'm going to actually change this. Drag this along, extend this footage out. Yeah, I like that a lot better, so let's cut that there. We're going to get rid of this. We're going to drag this so it matches the end of the video. Now this was just so I had more of the screen showing in the outro. It's just how my thought process works. It's a little bit more interesting for somebody to look at. Cut this out. Get rid of that excess footage. And then we're good to go. So I normally just go all the way back to the beginning. Just check I've got my title correct, which I have. I think we're good to go. So now we're going to export it. So I go up to File and Share, and I've got all these presets here in my share menu for different resolutions, different frame rates. This one we're going to do auto frame rate up to the maximum resolution, and then we're typing a title. And we're going to call this camera and battery update featuring VRS design case, because it features a case as well. And then we're going to click next. It's already in the correct folder, and we're going to save that, and that is the process. It's now exporting, and when that finishes I'll review the video back for any errors and then upload it to YouTube. So that was a pretty simple edit, and that was just down to my experience of recording the videos. I managed to do that without making any mistakes. When I'm recording a video where there's lots of different segments throughout the day, then obviously the editing is a lot more involved and takes a lot longer, sometimes up to about an hour or an hour and a half per video. So once that video is completed exporting, I end up with a video file that again is on the Western Digital MyBook Pro. Again, at the end of each day it mirrors to this particular drive here, and then it also gets backed up to a NAS drive, and it gets backed up to the cloud. So it is now early evening, and I got so much work done today. I'm really pleased with what I achieved. I'm actually just relaxing, catching up with the latest issue of Wired magazine, which actually came free with GQ magazine, which is probably my favourite read at the moment. And I love it that it's an actual physical paper product, something that I can flick through at my own leisure without looking at another screen. And that's it for today's video. Tomorrow I might take a look at my traditional mechanical watches and maybe talk to you a little bit about smartwatches as well.